Lloyd Smith. Understanding our communication styles, or any other personal style, isn't as easy as it may seem. After all, our styles are aspects of our essential beings. They color our ability to think about everything, including themselves. However, understanding our styles is very important. That's because they influence the way we interact with other people. If one of the purposes of communicating with others is to get them to understand or believe us, or to do what we want them to do, we have to interact with them in a way that works. In Understanding Your Communication Style, a Level 2 project in the Visionary Communication Path, Lloyd Smith will describe what he learned about his personal style, and he'll reflect on its impact on his professional and personal relationships. Lloyd Smith and Modulation in All Things.
This project, Understanding Your Communication Style, was really a valuable and interesting one to do. You've probably all seen those little surveys like you'll find in magazines where you answer a few questions and it reveals the inner secrets of your personality. It's actually set up like that. There's a little 12-question survey asking what you would prefer to do in certain circumstances relating to other people, and then there's an interpretation guide at the end. And it purports to decide which of the 4 communication styles, which they claim are the only ones, that you're in. Well, it worked in my case. On the 12 questions, 7 of them came out indicating that I was in the direct communication style. Decisive, competitive, independent, and confident. A person with direct communication style is focused, results-oriented, ambitious, goal-centered, and driven. Others may perceive him as strong-willed or demanding. He can seem impatient when bored. He likes to feel in control, may become frustrated if dependent on others. Measures progress by achievements and successes, motivated by challenges, more concerned with results in relationships, and so on and so on. That's pretty much me. Which makes me sound like a pretty unpleasant guy to be studying. The interesting thing about this, the project claims that the idea is to teach you how to adapt your communication style to the circumstances you find yourself in, but it really has more information about how to deal with people who have one of those communication styles. And it seems to me they missed an important opportunity here in order to do something really useful. I got to thinking the assignment was to talk about how my communication style has impacted my professional and personal lives. And I can think of 3 illustrations. I spent 4 years on a college debate team and coached a high school debate team for 15 years, and that exactly matches the skill set and the attitudes and whatnot of this direct communication style. It's an activity that rewards aggression and high speed and the ability to play defense and offense at the same time, and the necessity to sometimes crush your opponents. And I enjoyed it. My opponent, my partner, and I were good at it. But we recognized it was a game. I mean, we were rewarded intrinsically for playing that game. That kind of communication style is totally unsuited to the outside world. Can you imagine you talking to some person in normal life and you make it your mission to crush him into submission? It doesn't work. It's much like a little video I saw a few mornings ago on the Today Show. It showed a hit in a minor league hockey game somewhere, and this poor schmo was skating along trying to get the puck to the goal, and he was not watching the defending player who blocked him into the glass, but like off of his feet, like shoulder high, wham, sideways into the glass, and they lugged him off in the meat wagon afterwards. There's a lesson in there somewhere about hockey, but also about communication style. Got to use what works. Later on, when I became in my real job as a high school teacher, the direct communication style would not have worked at all for most kids. You can't just order kids to learn stuff or do things. It doesn't work. There are people who believe that's the way school should work. Doesn't matter whether you believe it or not, it doesn't work that way. So the trick is to adapt or modulate one's communication style. Modulate means to smooth out the highs and lows is what it amounts to make things calmer and smoother. And that tends to be the the thing that worked best for me. The third aspect of this that struck me was my personal relationships. My late wife was totally unlike me in terms of communication style. Her value was being a nice person, getting along with everybody, making things work out well. The exact opposite of how I did things. She never yelled at anybody, never disagreed with anybody. Well, in order to stay married to her for 48 years, I had to adapt, or she would have just, I assume she would have been smart enough to leave. But the trick is being able to change one's communication style. Now, how do you do that, though, in the real world? I think the way you do it is by recognizing what your style is. Since I knew that my basic style is confrontational, goal-oriented, result-directed, and like that, I have to smooth that off. I have to modulate that a little bit in order to get what I wanted. Now, in terms of being a teacher, the way I did it was just bugging people until they decided it was easier and more pleasant to do what I was asking than to listen to me talk to them about doing what I was asking. And it seemed to work okay. I mean, Brian lived through it, so it must have been okay. Either that or he's tougher than the average kid in that class, one of the two. But the thing is, and the reason I called the speech modulation and everything is that there's a Greek Golden Age poet named Hesiod who's famous for saying moderation and everything. I don't think moderation is the way to get things done in the real world, but modulation definitely is. You have to know what your communication style is, which is what this does, and figure out how to adapt it to whatever you need.
Can we get 1 minute on the timer to
Yes.
fill out our forms?